All right, so now we're going to focus on building the sidebar. If you look at the finished projects, you will see that look at what the sidebar looks like. So it's actually collapsible, and this is the experience we have. We also have a sub menu kind of feature here. Now what I want us to do is, you see all of this menu, I'm going to just put it in a separate JSON file. So what we'll do is, let me just close this up, and inside of my source folder I'm going to create a data folder. So source, I'll create something, a new folder here. I'll call that folder data, and then inside of this data I'll just slot in my sidebar. Now if you go to our repository where we have all our styles, you see that we also have the data folder here, and if you open that you will see sidebar.js. So once you open this guy, you can just copy what we have here and put it inside a sidebar.js file inside your data. So here, right in this data, I'll just create sidebar.js, yeah, and then I'll just slot everything inside here. It's not a component, it's just a file that has this array of objects. So if you close this guy up, you see that we just have, it's technically the menu, this menu here. Let me show you. Yeah, so it just contains the icons. From this menu down, it just contains the icons, the text, and the link that the menu is going to, as you know. So let's explore it just to familiarize ourselves. So if you look here, you see that this one, now we have the title, dashboard, this is the icon, and we imported all the icons here, by the way. Then the ones that have sub menu, so this account here, you see that it has children, and for some reason I use plural, so children s, and we have more than one there. All right, so that's for this one. Now this children menu item, sub menu item, if you allow me, they can also have icons. So you can just take this icon here and slot that in. We have provision for that, but I decided not to put any icon. I just wanted it to be just the text, the link text. And then we have this one, report a bug. So technically this is our menu, and we're going to be fetching all the menu items from here. So have I saved it? I don't think I have. So let me save it, and we can just close it. I'll just close it so that I have space. Excuse me. So what do we have next? So we're going to start working from the sidebar.js. If you look at the I think it's time I expanded this guy, so that, you know what, let me just shrink it. I'll just expand it like this. It's just that this one will be very small. So if you look at this sidebar here, you will notice that, just a minute please. So you notice that there's this top part here. That's where we're going to start building out the sidebar from. So I will, okay, this is my sidebar component. So here, let me just get rid of this h2 because that's not what we want. So how are we going to start? Give some space, and then let's start. So the first thing is that I'll create a section or a div here that will hold this part, the logo and this hamburger icon, if you allow me to use that description. So I'll come here, I'll say dot, it's a div actually, so div, tap that, and the div is going to have a class name of, I'll call it top underscore section. Okay, because it's just like the top section of the sidebar, that's before the menu items. Now inside this sidebar, inside this top section, what do we have? We have the logo. Okay, so this logo here, I need to import it from why am I losing my train of thought? I need to import it from React icons. So I'll just bring it in. So I'll just come here and just slot them in, paste, and then I'll also import the menu. Remember this menu we created in the sidebar.js. So here I'll say import menu. I think maybe I can just auto import it by just saying menu. I'm not sure, but oh, okay, it doesn't show. So let me just say import menu, and where is it located from? So we need to find our way somehow into the data folder. So dot forward slash, nope, dot forward slash, dot forward slash. Okay, so we need to be inside the data folder, and then inside that we now have the sidebar.js. Great. So at least we have most of what we need. Then also we're going to need this sidebar item, so why not just import it right now? So I'll just come here and import the sidebar item, import sidebar item from where it's located. Great. So now let's come down and proceed. We created a top section here, and in this top section I want us to have two things. First is the logo, and next is this hamburger icon. Okay, so I'll put that logo inside a div. I'll give that div a class of logo. I'll tab that, and inside I'm just going to have my icon. So let me copy the name of that icon. It's this one, product hunt line. Slot that in there and then close it. Sorry, Control Z, and then just close it like this. Great. Now this icon will have a size, so size of, I'm sure you can guess, 35. Then it's also going to have a style. I'll just put the style inside here, style, and I'll set it to just cursor pointer. So style is going to be cursor, and then I'll set it to pointer. Now the pointer needs to be in like this, so pointer. Yeah, so that's it for now. Then what else? So we're going to slot in this one as well. This is the hamburger icon. It's going to be inside its own div. So come here, there's a lot of div here going on already, and that div is going to have a class name of bars. So class name, and I'm just going to say bars. Aha. So let me grab the name of, you know what, I'll just copy this one just to make things fast. I'll copy that and then I'll just paste it here. Then I would change the name. So let me grab this name here, and then I'll just slot that here as well. So paste that in. The size is going to be okay. I think for this one I just used it the size as it was. I didn't really do all of this. So let me save this first and just see what we have in the project we're currently building. So it's compiling. Just give it a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. Okay, so you see this hamburger is very big here, so let's just remove the size. You know, we're not going to give it any size. Aha, so if you save that, it will become a lot smaller. Aha, so that's fine. Let's look at what we have here. Okay, so there's some space in between. Don't worry, we're going to fix all of this. So now if you notice something in the finished project, you notice that there are two states for this our sidebar. The first is when it's open like this, and the next is when it's not opened. I don't want to say when it's closed, but when it's not open or when it's not expanded. So we have to have a state that will account for these two, you know, states of the sidebar. So I'll need to just do it now so that I don't have to come back and start, you know, writing over the code that I've written on. So let me just come here at the top and I'll just create a state. So first let me just import use state, or I think I'll create the state first. So I'll call that state, let's just say use state, and I'll just use my snippet here, and I'll call that state is open. And here we're going to say set is open. This is going to be capitalized, and initially I want it to be open, so I'll set that to true. Then let's import use state. So use state from React. Aha. Then another thing is we want a function that can toggle the state from open to close, close to open. Okay, so here I'll just go ahead and create that function once and for all, and it's just going to be an arrow function that I will just call this arrow function toggle. And technically what I want it to do is to, okay, I don't need to have this because I can just put it in one line. So I'll just say set is open, and I'll just set it to whatever the opposite is. So opposite of is open. So what this means is that if is open is equal to true and you call this toggle function, it will just flip it and set it to false. When it's false, it will flip it and set it to true. So that's technically what this toggle state toggle function is going to do. Okay, so yeah, so now we're going to now start factoring in the styles for when this sidebar is open or when it's expanded and when it's not. So we're going to start from this very div at the top here. Okay, so let's come here and I'm just going to add a style property. Aha. So this style, in this style property, it needs to have two curly braces. I will say that I want it to have a width, that's the sidebar. I want it to have a width of, and this is going to be based on whether it's open or closed. So I'll say that if it's open, ternary operator, then I want it to have a width of 230 px. Okay, then else, in other words, if it's not open, then I want it to have a width of 60 px. Okay, so you see we're adding some logic to the styling right away from this point here. So let's come down. This thing is looking very cluttered, so let me just space things out a little bit. So now this top section here, right, inside of it we have a div with a class name of logo. Okay, so this logo here, I'm going to add styles just like I did here, and since it's very similar to what's going on here, I will okay, let me just add it so that I don't end up confusing even myself. So here I'll just say style, and that's going to be equal to like so. And now I'll say that if is open is equal to true. Oh, sorry, I need to write the name of the style that I want to show first. So that logo, I want to set the display property. Display. Aha. So the display property here, I will now say that look, if is open is equal to true. If it's open is equal to true, then I want, in other words, if the sidebar is expanded, then I want the logo to display. So here I'll just say block. If the sidebar is not expanded, if it's collapsed, then I want to hide the logo. So I'll say none. Okay, it's looking like it's complex, but don't worry. You just follow me step by step and you'll be able to have everything, the same thing on yours. So that's about it. Then the last thing is the menu. So this menu here. So I'll come here, and after this, the div that holds the hamburger icon, rather, I would have another style. So I'll have my style there. You know what, this time I can just copy the format because it's the same format. So let me just copy the format. I'll copy that, and then I'll just what's going on here? Okay, I'd already added the style here. Okay, you know what, let me just get rid of this cursor pointer first. That's not my priority here. So my priority here is to set the margin on the left. That's on the left here. So here I'll say margin left. Okay, and for that I'll say that if is open is equal to true. If is open is equal to true, then I want the margin on the left of the hamburger icon to be 100 pixels. Else I want it to be 0 pixels, so 0 px. Okay, so now with all of this in mind, the only way we can actually see the effect of all this, everything we just did here, is to add a toggle function on this hamburger itself. So on this hamburger, oh, I am adding this thing on the hamburger. No, this style here that I added directly to the hamburger, I want to add it to the div that holds the hamburger. So I'll just quickly just cut it, Ctrl X, and just paste it in here. Okay, now on the hamburger, directly on the hamburger, I'll just add an on click, and I'm sure you can guess what I want to do here. I want to call the toggle function. So because it's when you click on this hamburger that you want to toggle the closing and the opening of this sidebar. So now at least I know that to an extent we've added some functionality to the sidebar. It's now time for us to just test it out and see. Okay, so I'll save this file and let's go to our project. So you see it has moved a little bit, so I'm going to click it. So you see it has gone down and everything at the back has, adjusted. It has opened up. So this is nice. This is actually nice. Okay, so now let's continue creating. So the next piece of content we need to create is the menu here, these menu items here. So I'm going to break this video into two because we're already 15 minutes in, and then the next one will now create these menu items. All right, see you there.